This is my first attempt at making a Funko Pop figure, and really quick I'm just going to show you the items that I got in order to make this figure. It costed me about $30 altogether, so I went to Michael's for the art supplies, and then you can just buy your own pop figure. I bought mine at Target. The figure I'm going to be making today is Alexander Hamilton from the musical on Broadway. So I'll just run through the items I have really quick here. So a piece of paper so I don't get paint on anything. An X-Acto knife. This is to, if you wanted to cut off any parts of like the accessories they're holding. So I picked out the Percival Graves pop figure from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Him. He has a little walking stick, which I'm just going to cut out since Hamilton doesn't really use that. But I've also seen other videos where people mix and match like the bodies and the heads. So what you do is take a pop figure, boil them in some water for about 5 minutes that you would heat up in the microwave. And then some of the heads aren't exactly the same size. So the X-Acto knife would be to kind of like trim it around and make it the right shape to like combine the two pieces. Other than that, I have a set of brushes that I bought and a little paint palette. Comes with a handy little plastic trays you can put the brushes in later. And then just some acrylic paint I've heard works best, so I bought a value pack as well as a couple additional colors. I got a peach one that is more of a skin tone, and then I plan to do a lot of Funko Pops with darker blues, like a navy, so it comes with like a sky blue and a regular royal blue, but in case I want to do like a pop with blue jeans or something. So again, which figure you want to customize into whatever you're making is really up to you. You don't have to match the skin tone, but it's probably best to get as close as possible. But some of the things that you should really be looking for are what kind of hair the person has, and if you're going to match it up to the person you're customizing, if they have any hats or headgear, accessories. Like some people, like I said, I'm going to take off this walking stick right here, but there are also like figures that have like knives or pistols or something, which would be good for like a Hamilton. I picked this one because he's got like a nice long trench coat that is easier to coat in blue. Some people have used a character from Out Louder. It's also about availability, so this Percival Graves figure I was able to find pretty easily. Other figures are a little bit harder to find in stores if you're not willing to wait for an online order. So as you can kind of see here, I just started to cover up the white and grayness to this Percival Graves figure to start. Give him a nice coat of black hair for Hamilton. And you can kind of see here I'm going the same direction. That's the other thing that you want to avoid, besides gobbing up a bunch of paint and getting it really sticky and stuff, is to make sure that you paint the same direction. Whether that's up or down or whatever direction you want. This one makes sense to paint with the hair so it's not going against the grain, which is how I've started out here. So as you can see, I've made a little bit of progress here. Black hair is fairly uniform, not too shiny, not too globby. If it is kind of too shiny, just keep using the brush to kind of spread it all out, let it dry faster. Don't let it set up and become like a solid mass, but also be sure to leave the edges until the very end if you're using a larger brush. I started to use a fairly large brush here, and I'm going to use some of these extremely fine edge tip brushes to kind of get the sideburns and stuff here and finish it out. Alright, next step after the hair is dried is to add a blue coat of paint to the outside of his jacket. So as you can see here, I've added some blue to the jacket of Percival Graves. Doesn't look too solid right now, but don't get discouraged. Sometimes it just takes a couple coats. So I am slowly but surely painting the jacket blue, adding a second and third coats of paint to make it look more uniform. I've also went ahead and started to make the middle of his jacket a bit more white to kind of fit the fluffy, I don't know what you might call it, just the jacket that he has underneath it. Next step, I went ahead and painted his pants a little bit, kind of got around the back and everything. And then also, now that I've done it here, I thought the I called it a walking stick earlier, it's actually a wand. I don't know why I didn't put two and two together, but tried the X-Acto knife on this thing. It's actually a lot easier if you do the trick I mentioned at the start of the video, where you put them in some boiling water. Even something as thin as that little wand is pretty tough to get with an X-Acto knife. So I would recommend doing that before you do any painting. Once the coats of paint start filling in, you can start adding little details. Like I've added white to end his sleeves there, a little belt, and the buttons. If you're still unsure about doing it with even a fine tip paintbrush, you can also use a toothpick. Just get kind of like a gob of paint and just tap the button where you want to do it, like really slowly. Here's a full look at the detailing I just did. Might went a little heavy there with the black. Just want to do some lines to like make it look like there's a shadow between his jacket and then his inner couple shirts and stuff. So the black lines are a bit thicker than what I intended, but I still think it looks pretty good. I ended up adding some like brownish gold dots too to make up his buttons. Those probably could have turned out a little bit better, but I like the detail. And now the only part that's left is his facial hair. Alright, so just looking at how I did the facial hair, it is really tricky. Be careful when you get to this step, because I feel like I was painting some, then I felt like I was overcompensating and adding more to the point where it looked way too bushy of facial hair for Lin-Manuel Miranda or Hamilton. So you can kind of tell where I've put paint where the skin should be. It doesn't really quite mesh. So I guess a good trick I would say or a good tip going forward was to maybe have some sandpaper handy. Also, if you like mess up, maybe like a wet Kleenex or something, just to kind of scrape it off like really quickly. It's harder to do that for black, which is why I painted over it. We'll have to go another round here after I get some sandpaper, but for the most part, if you just like just kind of zoom out and look at the whole thing, I think it looks pretty good. Just a few extra touch-ups and that should be fine. So second try, I don't know if it's really an improvement. I don't have like the peach paint around the face to like cover up the stuff that I messed up on, but the sandpaper actually scuffed it up a bit. Spread the black a little bit around so you can kind of see like there's some black streaks kind of close to his eye there. And really I had to just paint over what I kind of scratched off, since it's did streaks like that, and ended up having to paint over his nose. So again, a very important word of caution: be very careful when you're painting on the face, unless you want to like paint over the entire thing. You live and you learn, so this is my first time doing it. I still think this is a pretty good job considering. Like I said, I just wish it turned out a little bit better in the face, but I don't want to have to like paint over the entire thing if at all possible. Yeah, but here's my Alexander Hamilton. I suppose one other thing I could just add is a little black hole there in his hand to make it look like his hand is actually has like a shadow inside of it, instead of just covering up where his the wand was for the Percival Graves. But that should just about do it. Alexander Hamilton. Actually, really quick, one last look at what the finished product looks like compared to the figure I started out with. And the other thing I forgot to mention is some people do this where they can actually take a certain sort of modeling clay and add it to shape the hair or something else. So I know that Lin-Manuel Miranda actually wears like a ponytail with his Hamilton character. That's something I could very well add in the future if I wanted to, or if you're looking to add some, like I said, like special features like hair or other accessories to your figure. That's also an option.